Guys, welcome to the J. Scott Outdoors podcast. I am actually driving from Aspen, Colorado over to the Aught Six Ranch, and I'm going up over Independence Pass. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and that hurricane or tropical storm that's hit Mexico is bringing some moisture. There's snow on the road, and it's real pretty. It's 32 degrees outside, and really haven't seen many other cars. Just kind of driving along, working my way towards the Aught Six Ranch. I've been over at the ranch since September 1st. It is now October 24th. Was over at the Aught Six Ranch for 47 or 48 days. And we picked up a new vehicle for Hunter Meekum, who works with me over at the Aught Six Ranch. And so I got a lift from Pueblo with the owner on his airplane over to Montrose, Colorado. And he dropped me off, and I actually drove to my place here between Glenwood Springs and Aspen, and spent a few days there. Was able to see my wife, and now I'm headed back over to the ranch. Thought I would give a little update on the Aught Six Ranch. If you haven't been following along on my Instagram account, which is the best way to kind of follow along what's going on a day-to-day basis with me. The Aught Six Ranch, got over there about September 1st. Actually got there August 31st, the afternoon, and started checking trail cameras, and started glassing morning and evening and trying to take inventory on what was shaking over there at the ranch. And the general consensus is actually I'm very happy with what I saw over at the ranch. The year prior, in the fall of 2017, I actually just got to the ranch on October 1st, because the ranch wasn't purchased till about the last week of September in 2017. So I guess what I'm getting at is getting to spend the whole month of September at the ranch. I was very pleased with what I saw and what we saw, Hunter and I, as far as rutting activity, numbers of bulls on the property, amount of bugling, just the sheer chaos of elk getting to do their thing in a natural setting without very much applied pressure from humans. So it was really cool. Had a bunch of really neat bulls show up. Had a bunch of resident bulls show up and do their thing. And if you've been on our Aught Six Ranch, that's AUGHT6 Ranch Instagram page, you can go and see a lot of the trail camera pictures and a lot of the videos, the phone scope videos that we were able to take of those bulls. But we had several really nice bulls. We had a bull that probably the best bull on the ranch, a bull we call Creed. He got his nickname because he was fighting with a bull named Six Pack, and we called him obviously Apollo Creed, and Creed kind of stuck. He's a beautiful mainframe 6x6. He's got just a little bit of a G6, is actually a 6x7 on one side. But a mainframe 6, he's got really long points. He's real narrow. He's probably only 32, 33 inches wide. But he's got really long fronts, and just a beautiful bull. Hunter and I were able to get quite a bit of video footage of him. We got a bunch of trail camera videos and photos of him. And it was awesome to watch him do his thing during the rut. We actually watched him multiple times actually breeding cows and getting the job done, which was nice, knowing that he's spreading the genetics throughout the ranch. We've got, I'll try and go through some of them just off the top of my head. I mentioned a bull named Six Pack. He's a beautiful 6x6, big-bodied bull. Hasn't reached his full potential yet, but has been seen kind of all over the ranch. We got a bunch of early trail cam pictures of him. He's probably in the 330, 340 class, maybe a smidge better. There's a bull we call the Mystery 7. That's a bull that we had some early trail camera velvet pics on the ranch, and then didn't have him hard antlered at all, and then he showed up kind of late rut, and we just wonder, did we miss him? Were we not in the particular area where he was? But he's a mainframe 7x7. His G6s are only he's probably got a 3-incher on one side and maybe an inch and a half on the other side, but he's a mainframe 7x7. He's got a G1 on one side that goes out and then tips down, kind of teardrops down. So that's kind of a fun bull. He's probably in that 350s, upper 350s, 360 class. Let's see what else. We've got a bull called Bladed Swords. He was a bull last year that we got quite a bit of footage of. He's got big bladed fourth points, kind of weak fists, kind of weak fronts, but kind of a big bodied bully bull, probably in the 330, 340 class. We've got a bull named Devil Ants. He got his name because he's got 2 devil points on his G1s, on his brow tines, and then his fifth fork. And actually, we got great video, great phone scope video of that bull throughout the rut in September, and we've actually, that bull must have wandered off of the ranch, because they're actually, I got some photos of devil ants sent to me. Some public hunter was fortunate and got devil ants. He's probably in that upper 340s, lower 350s class. Just a awesome bull, a lot of mass. One of those cases where, mass hides length. That's a neat bull. Let's see. We got a bull named Loppy that was one of our best bulls on the ranch last year. He had a deformed pedicle on one side. Had really, really nice force and fists last year. The owner of the ranch actually harvested that bull on the first rifle season, rather than harvesting one of the trophy bulls. That Loppy was the top of our cull bull list. He probably lost 30 inches of antler this year just from going downhill. We think he's a very, very old bull. We think he's at least 10 years old. David harvested him. He's got a 55-inch main beam on one side. He's 47 inches wide inside spread. He's got a deformed pedicle, but he still scored 347. Figured he had probably about 10 inches of broken point on his antler, so he still scored 347 with 10 inches broken. I'm just at the top of Independence Pass here, and it says the elevation is 12,195 feet. It's 28 degrees, and there's snow on the road, and it's just beautiful up here right now. They close this pass about the third week, just about Thanksgiving time, depending on weather. My seat heater's getting a little warm here. Turn this down. Getting a little hot. Some of the other bulls on the ranch, there's a bull called Tripod. Tripod is a bull that on his left, by his fourth and fifth on the left side, he's got a tripod point kicking out. He's kind of got short fists, but he's a big frame, mature bull. And then on his right side, between his G2 and his G3, he's got an extra brow tine. He's a really neat bull. There's a bull called the Banana Bull. He's got fourth points that tip forward. He's probably in the 330 class. There's a bull called Limpy. Anyway, he's a wide bull. He's got I think it's back right broke leg, but he's got kickers and all kinds of trash coming off his rack. He's a real wide bull. I'm betting he's probably 47 to 50 inches wide. A neat bull. And then we've got a bunch of up and coming bulls. We've got a bull called the Future. He's got a bunch of trash. It's going to be an awesome bull in a year or two. We've got, let's see, a bull we call 78. He was a 7x8 mainframe. He's a mainframe 6x6 really, with extras. And 78 actually broke his main beams during the rut. Above, I think on one side above his third, on the other side above his fourth, so he kind of got chopped up. There's a bull called Hooker. I had a real close encounter. He's a mainframe 6x6, just a beautiful frame bull. Last year, I was really hoping that he would blow up this year. He definitely is bigger. He's got a really good shape, great shaped up fronts, got a lot of belly and a lot of curl to them. But anyway, if you go on our Instagram page, either J Scott Outdoors or Aught Six Ranch, you can see a lot of these bulls, and there's a lot of bulls that I didn't mention here. But also, we were able to find a really nice buck in velvet early on in September, and this buck is a real clean, typical buck. The owner ended up harvesting him on the muzzleloader tag in full velvet, and he's right at 200 inches typical, and just a beautiful buck. And for those of you that know me, you know I love elk, but you also know I absolutely love deer. So getting to see this buck, and Hunter Meekum first found this buck. We had some trail camera pictures in an area of some bucks and hadn't really glassed it too much, and so we every morning and every evening we kind of make a plan. We split up and go different directions, and we made a plan that Hunter was going to go kind of check out that country, and he came back saying he found a great buck and had some phone scope video of this buck. And so we tried to investigate and get a little closer, kept trying to find him, look at him, and see what he was, and turns out he's a beautiful, typical buck. And so we kind of kept our eye on that buck until the muzzleloader season started. And David was actually, I stayed up on Point Glassing, and David and Hunter actually snuck in there where the buck likes to bed. And it was crazy because I got to see from above, and that buck ended up bedding about 45 yards from them for probably an hour and a half, and they couldn't see him. He was in this tall rabbit brush, and it was very intense for me because I could see how close they were to him. And finally the buck ended up feeding. They didn't have a shot. The buck ended up feeding because the brush was so tall. They were kind of on the same level with the buck. He actually ended up feeding 15 yards from him, and I was able to video from above, and it's incredible video. In the video, it looks like the buck is actually like 5 yards from him, and David made a perfect shot and got a beautiful, clean, typical. So that kind of talks about, we have some other really neat deer that with a year or two of more age on them, I think will be fantastic bucks. We've got some trashy bucks, and we've got one buck in particular that's got a teardrop dropper off one side, and in the velvet he was awesome. His frame is fairly small. It's probably only like a 160 type mainframe, but he's got probably a 11 to 12 inch teardrop dropper, and that's a buck. He also has a kicker off that same side, off his G2 or G3, I don't remember, but a neat buck. We've got some other trashy bucks, some other typical bucks. We've got so many elk on the Aught Six Ranch that it kind of pushes the deer out. So you've seen places, it's hard to find ranches that have great deer and great elk, because the elk typically kind of push and I don't want to say bully, but they kind of take over an area. And so and I think that's what's happened at the Aught Six Ranch. We do have some habitat that the deer really like, and we do have deer throughout the whole ranch, but not what you think of when you think of Colorado, where there's just deer everywhere. We have elk everywhere. Another fun thing, we've got a lot of bears, a lot of big bears. Bears of all sizes on the ranch, kind of from head to toe on the ranch, and we've gotten some great trail camera pictures of these bears. I actually harvested my first bear. I've never really bear hunted, but I had a tag and harvested a sow. Not a real big sow, but crazy thing is she had one front paw. She only had one front foot, if you will. She basically had a nub on one side, and when I checked it out at the Game and Fish, they actually sent a tooth sample off, and the Game and Fish officer said he'll be real surprised if that's not an extremely old sow. And so I was kind of pumped about that. And we've had a couple of mountain lions on our trail cameras. Last year, Hunter, who comes from a historic mountain lion, dry ground mountain lion hunting family, Hunter was able to catch 3 tom lions that were harvested on the ranch, one of which, the first lion that was harvested, I actually had the fortune of harvesting on the first day that I went out with Hunter. Harvested roughly 140 pound tom, and it was awesome getting to watch Hunter work with his dogs, dry ground, no snow, and just amazing to watch the interaction between Hunter and his dogs and how those dogs work. And the Meekum hounds are actually known all over the Southwest as some of the best bloodlines, some of the best genetics, some of the best dry ground lion hunting dogs there are. And the discipline those dogs have, and I've been around other dogs and seem like they're doing a lot of, barking and chasing each other and what have you. These dogs, as soon as he lets them go, are all about the track. And it's funny to watch, not funny, but it's cool to watch the different personalities and characteristics that each dog have. And then it's fun to watch the interaction that Hunter has with those dogs and the relationship he has with each dog. It's just fascinating. And then after my tom, about a month later, Hunter was able to actually catch 2 bigger toms, 2 big, beautiful tom mountain lions. And back to the trail cameras, we've had a couple of female lions on trail cameras, and it'll be interesting to see if some toms make their loop and come through the ranch during the time when the mountain lion season is open. I believe mountain lion season starts on, November 20th, which is different from my home state of Arizona, where mountain lion season pretty much runs all year long, and there's no quotas. You can shoot usually as many lions as you want. Obviously, only one per year, but pretty liberal seasons. Here in Colorado, they actually have quotas, and they actually have a season, which is a little alarming, and that's a whole nother subject. But let's see what else. We've got Merriam's turkeys on the ranch, which I kind of tease with the ranch owners and Hunter that's the number one game animal on the Aught Six Ranch. And those turkeys are like my little babies. I love those little buggers. We've got a pretty good population of Merriam's turkeys. One thing I'll say is I think a lot of our turkeys in the summer up high, up on the national forest, and then it seems as when they know that winter is coming, they come back to the ranch, because we've had influx, so to speak, of Merriam's turkeys on the ranch. Seems like more and more are showing up each day here in the fall, and After I got done with my Gould's turkey hunts in Mexico last year, I was able to come up here to the Aught Six Ranch. I want to say it was about the 16th, 17th of May, and actually roosted a couple birds, but I think it was kind of towards the end of their breeding season. But it'll be interesting to see, this last winter we had such a dry winter on the Aught Six Ranch. We didn't have any die-off of turkeys, which is great. That warms my heart. But it'll be interesting to see what the winter does this year at the Aught Six Ranch, and hopefully those turkeys will survive and we won't have any die-off. So let me think if I'm missing anything. I had mentioned that David harvested Loppy. It was the only bull harvested off the ranch. We've got about 10 to 12 bulls that we've identified as cull bulls or management bulls. And in the first rifle season, David elected to harvest a cull bull and not shoot one of the trophy bulls, which is awesome. And then we have a group coming in for the third rifle season, and hopefully we're going to shoot 4 or 5 more cull bulls out of our 10 or 12 that we need to shoot off the ranch. And I've gotten a lot of questions about what are cull bulls, what are management bulls, and the way we look at it, any bull that has reached maturity but does not have the antler configuration, 6x6 or better antler configuration. So some of these big 5 points, some of these deformed pedicle bulls, and just some of these bulls that genetically, maybe we've seen them for a couple years in a row now and they have really short fifths. Any of those bulls we're going to call management bulls and cull bulls, and try and shoot them first before we shoot any trophy bulls. But basically bulls that have reached maximum maturity, but their antlers don't match what we want at the Aught Six Ranch. Those are at the top of the list of cull bull hunts. So we also will be on the lookout if there's a nice buck or two around. Right now we really don't have anything that we would classify as bucks, trophy bucks that we really want to shoot. It'll be interesting to see if we get an influx of bigger deer and more numbers of deer as this fall progresses and as we get snow in the high country, to see if we get a migration of deer coming in and a migration of bucks. It'll be awesome to see, and hopefully we do. Starting to rain now. The temperature is now 36 degrees. I've dropped a little bit in elevation, coming down on the backside of Independence Pass towards Twin Lakes, on my way through Buena Vista and then through Salida. So it's kind of turned to a snow/rain. So if you hear the windshield wipers every once in a while, I apologize for that. Let's see. So the future is looking bright at the Aught Six Ranch. We've got a great group of people at the Aught Six Ranch. Everybody has their own independent role with different aspects of the ranch, and then we all come together as a group. We make a great team. We've got a great ownership. We've got a great ownership, great team of owners, husband and wife, and a great team here that's everybody's chipping in and making it a great fun place to work. I'm going to be over here kind of towards mid-November, and then I'm actually going to head back to Arizona. I've got a desert bighorn sheep hunter December 1st, so that'll give me a couple weeks to get back and scout for a couple weeks before the hunt starts. We've got trail cameras running for the desert bighorn sheep, and I'm looking forward to going on that bighorn hunt. Every year I look forward to the desert bighorn sheep hunts in Arizona. After that, we've got our Coos deer hunts in Sonora, Mexico. We've got a great group of hunters, both DIY and fully guided groups going. Really looking forward to getting down there and chasing the Coos deer. It's one of my favorite times of year. Most of the hunts will be conducted in January. We've got a few groups going kind of after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, that time frame. And then the fully guided hunts run kind of what we try and position around that prime time rut, which is roughly January 10th through January 30th. Those are kind of the prime dates there year in, year out. Now, it'll be interesting this year because the full moon falls, I believe, on January 20th or 21st, which is kind of right in the middle of that time frame. So the full moon always, as we've talked about on my podcast, offers some challenges. But if you've got nice, cool temperatures, typically it's just fantastic rutting action. So I'm looking forward to getting down to Mexico. And then for me, I'll have a couple of the trade shows, the Western Hunting Expo in Utah. Love to meet up with you guys if you guys are going to be there. Potentially going to try and make it to the sheep show. Normally I'm Coos deer hunting in Mexico and the sheep show's in January. This year it's in February. So I'm going to try and make it to that. I'm for sure going to the Western Hunting Expo. And then I'm actually headed back up to Colorado. I bought an annual ski pass for Aspen Snowmass. There's actually 4 mountains, Aspen Highlands, Aspen, Buttermilk, and Snowmass. And I'm going to try and ski as much as I can the month of February and the month of March and the first part of April. I had not snow skied in 20 years. The last time I had skied I was 25 years old. It had been 20 years. And last year we actually spent the month of March up here in the Aspen area, and I got 10 days of skiing in and just absolutely fell in love with it. I grew up skiing as a kid. I don't even remember learning. Skiing for me is one of those things that just feels natural. It just feels second nature to me. I rented a pair of skis last year and boots. I had to go buy a pair of ski pants and a jacket, bought a helmet. Back when I used to ski, we didn't ski with helmets. I was skiing on 207 centimeter skis. And now the technology has changed. I'm skiing on 177 centimeter skis, and the technology, I can tell you, is phenomenal. So last year I rent these skis and boots, and I buy a pair of goggles. I had no idea what to expect, didn't even know if I would know how to do it. I told myself, riding up the lift, just go up, don't even think about it, and just turn them downhill and see what happens. And honestly, it was incredible. I got off the lift, and it felt, feelings were coming back from my youth, and I, tightened my boots up and basically just pointed them downhill. I made 4 or 5 turns that felt a little awkward. It seemed like after about the 5th turn, it was as if I'd never stopped skiing. It took me a couple days. My legs were getting pretty tired after, 7 or 8 runs. But by the end of the season, on my 9th, 10th day, I was feeling very strong and very good. But I was so pumped, to take 20 years off. People say it's just like riding a bike. Well, it really was. And so I'm so pumped to get back on the ski slopes this winter. And I'm going to try and get 30 days in of skiing. So it's something I'm really looking forward to. We've already gotten some snowstorms here, and I'm hoping it's going to be a dumper of the year and get some great snow. So that's kind of wraps it up. And then I guess from there I will head back and do my Gould's turkey hunts in Sonora, Mexico. I've got a bunch of hunts booked for Gould's turkey. I've got some of my other guides that I work with have some openings. So if you're interested in a Gould's turkey hunt in the spring down in Sonora, Mexico, let me know. Send me an email, send me a message on Instagram. But I think, if I remember right, we killed 55 birds last year in Sonora and just had an unreal year. And we started doing that in 2010. We've gone, I guess, at 8 seasons in a row and just had phenomenal hunting down there for Gould's turkey. So, and then after Gould's turkey, I'll be back up in the Colorado area to fish and enjoy the Roaring Fork Valley and fish the Gunnison and a bunch of those other rivers, the Eagle and all those rivers that we love. So that's kind of a wrap. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message. I want to thank you guys, the listeners, for just your avid support of my content, whether it be through the podcast or through the Instagram page. Just a super loyal following. And, you know, I'm really proud of kind of what we've built here at J. Scott Outdoors. We're not a big fan of giveaways. We're not a big fan of, buying listeners, so to speak, or buying followers. Never really felt that was a real genuine thing to do. And, the avid support, the loyal support of you guys is amazing. And the messages that I get every day, whether it be by email or direct messages, is so rewarding for me, knowing that, within this podcast or within my social media stuff, that you guys can pick up some tips and pick up some motivational stuff to just keep you going, and tactics and stuff from the podcast guests that I have on, and then to get to see the photos of the success and the stories that you guys provide is amazing, and that's what keeps me energized. So I just want to thank you for that. And I also want to thank the sponsors. Without the sponsors, I wouldn't be able to devote the amount of time that I do to that. And I want to thank GoHunt.com and the Gear Shop. Cody Nelson, my friend of over 20 years, is the manager of the Go Hunt Gear Shop. He used to be with the Outdoorsmans, and then he moved to the Go Hunt Gear Shop, and he's in charge. He's the optics manager, and he's in charge of the binoculars, the rifle scopes, the spotting scopes, tripods, any of the gear at the Go Hunt Gear Shop. And he has promised me that he will absolutely take care of the J. Scott Outdoors podcast listeners. So if you have any optical needs or any gear needs at all, you can call him at 702-847-8747. That's extension 2. Or you can email him at optics@gohunt.com. I also will encourage you guys, Go Hunt Insider, which has been a title sponsor of the J. Scott Outdoors podcast for a long time. They are just about to turn off their free trial, their 30-day free trial of the Go Hunt Insider. So what that means is, if you sign up before October 31st, you can, for 30 days, go through the whole Go Hunt Insider. You can go through all of the western states, all of the animals, mule deer, elk, sheep, etc. You can look at all of the units. You can look at all of the data, all of the draw statistics, all of the harvest statistics, all of the draw odds, both for antlered and antlerless animals. And you can see which units, which states, you want to apply for. It's completely free, 30-day free trial. All you got to do is go to gohunt.com/JScott, and that will get you a link to the 30-day free trial. I highly encourage you, if you have any interest at all in what the Go Hunt Insider is about, go try out that free trial. You get full access. You get to see what the Go Hunt Insider is completely all about. So go check them out. I also want to thank KUIU.com, KUIU Ultralight Hunting. That's KUIU.com. Obviously, you guys, if you've been following along, you know that the founder, my friend Jason Harrison, passed away mid-September. and it just tragic loss for all of us at the Kuyu Nation. But I can tell you, when I was out there for Jason's funeral, I met with a lot of the Kuyu employees, a lot of the Kuyu staff, and they are even more than ever devoted and inspired to make Kuyu the best company, make the best products, and keep that transparency going that Jason had, and to strive to push Kuyu forward. And I think they're doing a phenomenal job. They've just released some youth lines. They've just released some women's products, a woman's line, which is awesome. And they've just released their new Kenai insulation line. And they've got a lot of great things going on at Kuyu. I highly encourage you to check them out at kuiu.com. I want to thank them for their avid support. I've been with Kuyu since 2010, and I feel more loyal than ever right now to Kuyu and to the Kuyu Nation. I also want to thank Canyon Coolers and remind you that if you use the JScott promo code with Canyon Coolers, you're going to get a 10% discount. I've been using their coolers all fall. They make a phenomenal cooler at a way better price than some of the bigger brands out there, and they're based right in Flagstaff, Arizona. So use the JScott promo code, get a 10% discount there at canyoncoolers.com. And then phonescope.com. That's the digiscoping device that I use on my iPhone X. And if you use the JScott18 promo code, you're going to get a 10% discount there at phonescope.com. Now that's Phonescope with a K. Phonescope.com, JScott18, you're going to get a 10% discount. Guys, until next time, God bless you. Please send me any emails, send me any Instagram messages if you want to hear certain people or certain topics or about gear or whatever questions you have. Send them to me at jscottoutdoors@gmail.com. God bless you guys.